What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as y'all know, I did end up going over the Maui Big Tour event here in the Maui Expeditions playlist, or I guess you could say the Motorfest Challenges Log playlist, tomato, tomato. I guess it's like a mini playlist, even though it's in the actual thing for the playlist. But either way, I did want to talk about the entire thing here, go over my honest thoughts on it, and pretty much talk about the side activities, the challenges, and also the custom mode as well. I'm not really going to talk about the events besides one thing I did want to go over with it, which I would say is probably not going to be all that shocking. But the first thing I want to talk about here, guys, as everybody does know, it's only going to be one event. Once you do it, you're then going to get the $75,000, and that's basically it. You can then jump back into the event, play it as many times as you would like, and pretty much farm it with different classes for like the custom mode and all that stuff. But one thing I did want to show you here, though, so spawning into the map, heading over to the event, this is something I actually made a video on legitimately. I think it was like 7 or 8 months ago talking about it a bit, but yeah, we all do know you can go custom, put on like the clean driving modifier. You can also do the difficulty option, but you know what, man? I do not understand the point of this. You can legitimately have 1 level, 2 levels, 3. All it is going to change is legit a few hundred XP, maybe even 1,000 or so. Level 1 to level 5, you're going to basically get yourself a little over 5,000 XP. You guys want to know what my question is? Why is it that when you do these events, especially the brand new event that was just legit added a few days ago here in the game, is going to have a difficulty bonus on it that is not going to give you any money going up in the difficulty? Like, I just don't understand why it's like this. Like, yeah, you're going to get some XP. Cool, man. Let's call on the moose and gallop out of here, right? But why can't we get maybe even if it's like 7 grand out of the event? Like, I just don't get that stuff. Okay, but besides all of that event stuff, though, let's now talk about the side activities here in the Maui Expeditions. We all do know that, yeah, we're going to get some new escapes, speed traps, and all that good stuff. There's also going to be a bunch of photo ops. I think there's 10 of them now, which is pretty insane. When I was recording this and doing some of these guys, they did end up working. I would say probably after the patch, hopefully they are all going to be working. Do let me know in the comments below if they are not, but once you do them, that's basically going to be it. Then you'll be able to move over to the challenges. Now, this is something I really did want to talk about. I'm also going to go over a small rant on the rewards here in a second, so stay tuned for that. But the thing is, though, there's going to be a total of 50, yes, 50 challenges. Now, the crazy part is, though, when I was looking at this, I was like, yo, that's a lot of challenges, man. Then I went, well, wait a second. Is it though? Because hold on, guys, if we are looking at the challenges, yeah, we're going to have the treasure boxes. There is going to be a ton of challenges in this one, drive from this location to that one, which if you guys are wondering, I am going to have some footage in the background of me doing some of these, and I admit every challenge in this entire playlist is pretty dang easy. They're going to require you to drive from like one location to another or something. Funny thing is, when you're doing the drive from one location to another challenge, you can go to that one, from the next location you go to the next one and basically follow them until you're then going to be finished. You have to do something like a regular car or something, aka like a ground vehicle, then a monster truck, then a power boat. And I did notice a majority of the challenges are going to be basically lined up, so when you do one of them in like a power boat, the next one's going to be from that location, you go to the next one, and so on until you get about 3 or 4 of them completed and they're all done. We're then going to have a few challenges that we have seen in basically every other playlist, where you're going to have to go to that said location and grab a specific item like a painting, maybe like a weird like tiki head or something on the road, or like a special sculpture or something like that, basically around the entire map that could be in a specific area. Now, I do know a lot of players might look around and go, okay, but how do we find these things, or these are really difficult items to find? The best way I can recommend, though, man, jump in a plane or something, look for that weird insignia on your map. It's going to be like a yellow star thing. You'll be very close to the item. Head over to that and then pick it up. But that's the thing, though, going through the challenges in this now, I do understand it's going to be like a challenges log, so that was probably the biggest focus of it. But the thing is, though, guys, like, for example, you're going to have to find the paintings, right? There's going to be a good amount of them. They have them spread out to each individual challenge. If you notice in the other playlists in the game, they're going to be in one specific challenge where you have to go grab, let's say, 5 of the paintings around the map. it'll pretty much have like the insignia pop up on the map again. You go find it. You'll have to find 5 or 6 of them to complete that one said challenge. In this entire one, though, they're all going to be separated, which I have to admit in ways, well, it kind of makes it look like there's more challenges than what you are seeing. And that was the thing, though. Like, a big part of me was looking at the challenges going, okay, so maybe they separated all of them to make it look like there is more challenges in the entire challenges log than there really is. Another example of this, guys, is going to be the Tiki collectible. There is going to be a total of 5 of these, all separated challenges. If you were to find a Tiki collectible in any other playlist in the game, it would end up being by itself in one challenge. That way you have to get all 5 Tiki collectibles, and then boom, you're going to end up getting it completed. Definitely a bit odd, though. You're then going to get 4,000 XP, $4,000 from each of these, which I'm like, why would you end up having around $4,000 and 4,000 XP for every single challenge being separated? We're then going to have another challenge that's going to be the lighthouses that will give you $40,000 and 40,000 XP. The best part is this is going to be one challenge where you have to get 6 lighthouses, whereas with the Tiki collectibles, they're all completely separated where it's basically the same thing. They probably could have put all them together, but they're like, okay, well, if we put everything like separated, then yeah, it's most likely going to look like more challenges. I would probably guess if they did end up doing that, having all the paintings and stuff together and many of the sculptures, then well, it would probably be maybe 30-ish challenges, maybe 35 or something, which is going to be insanely similar to some of the other playlists in the game. I do admit, guys, like some of that was a tad frustrating. Like, yeah, there's a good amount of challenges you can do. You'll get some money. I think it's like over $700,000 from it. Someone mentioned it's like 8 or 9 or 7 levels or something like that if you do all of the challenges, which is probably going to be fairly useful if you do need the money, which I would say a lot of players probably don't. If you are a new player, then yeah, you're probably going to need it. When it does come to the XP factor in the game, well, let's be honest, a lot of players probably aren't focusing on the XP because, well, if we look at the main stage and all that, which I do know I've talked about that a lot, but why actually get XP and level it up? Because there's really not a lot of things you most likely need if you played the game a bit. You really don't even need to get the XP from these said challenges. Or you're probably going to be like I am, or most likely like a lot of players out there, to where they're looking at the entire main stage going, oh, why do I need to level this up for a title? Ha! There's really not a reason to do it. Definitely a bit frustrating. Like, yeah, there's 50 challenges here, but the big thing is I feel like a lot of them are probably going to be pulled apart to make it look like there is most likely more of them. If you guys do have to do the challenges, though, as I mentioned, they are pretty dang easy to do. A lot of the objects and things you have to find again are going to pop up on your mini-map when you get close by. So when you're cruising around or, you know, you're driving from one location to another, you are probably going to stumble upon a lot of those set items when you are going over other challenges. So at least you're probably going to get them done fairly quick. Now, besides all of the challenges, though, the next thing I did want to talk about is going to be the reward timeline here, which I have to admit really had me wondering why they did end up putting half the stuff in here. The first one I did want to talk about, though, is going to be on the left side, which is going to be 10 legend points. Now, I would say, yeah, this is probably going to help some players if they are newer, like if you're looking to get the legend points. Sure, then yeah, it's most likely going to be helpful. But a majority of the players are probably going to be like I am, having way too many of the legend points, and everything is already going to be maxed out in the game itself. I mean, heck, guys, this was going to be something we had in the beginning of the game itself. I'm going to have unassigned points, and also question, why is the unassigned points going to go to 1,000 when you legit can't even use any of them? The thing is, though, they're now going to be giving us more legend points and newer playlists or different activities and stuff that 99% of the player base probably can't even use them. It just doesn't make sense. Like, okay, give me the 10 legend points. Well, why can't I turn in like 100 legend points or even 50 legend points and get something like some of the new prestige tickets with them? That way I can collect those a bit easier. Players can maybe turn them into money or turn them into XP. Like, I don't know, man. A lot of it just does not make sense with the thought process behind Motorfest. I gotta admit it. The next thing we're then going to have is going to be like one of the dashboard things, which again, most players probably don't even run those. The next one is going to be the Ducati Monster, which yes, this thing has been in the game since the Crew 1 for that matter, so they're going to be having this bike as a reward. The next one's going to be kind of nice, crew credits. And the funny part is, a lot more players are probably going to want the 3,000 crew credits over basically everything else. I would personally rather see more crew credits in some of these besides legend points, which again, most players don't even use them, or even like one of the like dashboard things. People are not going to use a majority of this stuff. Same with the motorcycle, a lot of players probably already have it, so getting more crew credits is most likely going to be a better reward. We're then going to have one of the audio signatures, which I think people like some of these. Some of them are great. Some of them are also not going to be all that great. The next thing, though, is going to be an airplane. Again, this has been in the game for a long time, like it isn't new. A lot of players probably already have it. If I had to guess, 100 grand for each of these items if you own them. We're then going to have, guys, you guessed it, the best thing out of the whole game. I really want this so bad. Seriously. A title, though. Yes, a title. I really think they have to get rid of the titles. The last item, though, the BMW i8 Roadster. You have to do 50 different challenges to get this. This is something I thought about with the other ones. You actually have to do 50 different challenges for this guy, similar to the custom mode, which, by the way, you're also going to get, again, a legendary title. Here's a crazy idea, though. How about having to do 50 challenges? You put like a Lambo or something in there, or maybe like a new hypercar. That way players are like, yo, if I do 50 challenges, I get like a new Porsche hypercar or something. That would probably give players a bigger reason to do it. Looking at the custom mode again, you're then going to have the prestige tickets. Luckily, this one is going to be short, but keep in mind, though, all the events, if you're not going to be using some of the other classes, this is at least 10 minutes. Most likely in a demolition derby car, or maybe a rally and monster, you might be looking at around 12 to 13 minutes to do it. You are then going to get yourself a title. Like, I just have to admit, guys, they really could do way more stuff with the rewards in this game, especially the challenges. I do understand they're probably trying to fill in a bunch of this stuff, but you know what, though? This can also go for the summits, for the other thing like the main stage. I really do feel like, guys, a majority of the content we are getting in the game, don't get me wrong, by the way, I do understand this might come off as like complaining, but this is also because I really care about this game and want it to be great, and I do feel like everybody can see the potential in Motorfest, right? I can't be the only one, but when you're going to be giving everybody reuse assets from basically older stuff from the crew 2, or you're basically filling in most of the stuff in the game with, well, things players most likely already have or something, just to fill in some of the main reward spaces, that's not the way to do it. They could easily put some higher end stuff in here, that way players are like, okay, well, I have to do 40 challenges for an airplane I already own, I can then get my 100 grand back, cool, right? But players would probably rather have the crew credits over everything else. Like, seriously, do you guys actually use the dashboard things, or let's be real, 10 legend points is honestly such a big L. Like, bro, why not just have 3,000 crew credits there, 3,000 crew credits here, and maybe at the end of the challenge thing, because it's like a Motorfest like challenge log or whatever, why not have like 10,000 at the end plus like maybe a Lambo? That way players are like, yo, I got to get these 50 challenges done now because I want this stuff. But if you look at this right now and go, okay, well, that's a BMW i8 at 50. I do feel like players seeing something at 50 challenges, like maybe a Lambo or something that might give you $300,000 for getting it. And on top of that, maybe 10,000 crew credits. That way players might want to do it. I just feel like they could really do most of this stuff everybody is asking for, or many of the things the community has mentioned, but they're just not doing it. And you know what? I do not understand the thought process. All of us know the potential this game has, man. At the moment, we can all admit, I really do feel like in ways it's kind of being wasted. Do let me know what you guys think about the Maui Expeditions, a Motorfest Challenges log in the comments below. What do you guys think about it? Will you be playing it again? Is it something you can see yourself playing? And the best part is, are you going to level this up and get every single challenge done, including the custom mode? I might do the custom mode. I might do the rest of the challenges. I probably will, even though I really do not need any of the money. And on top of it, I really don't need the XP because, you know, the main stage is not a reason to level it. So a lot of players might want some of the rewards. Now, I do admit something, though. If you are a newer player getting into Motorfest, then all this stuff is completely fantastic. Yes, it's going to get you money and stuff like that. It's going to be great. It'll get you some free vehicles and some jump starting on some different things you don't have to buy, so I get it. It is going to be great in that aspect. But for the returning players, though, and a lot of people that are going to be from the crew 2, which I think is probably a lot of them, and go, okay, well, I really don't need to get that airplane. I have $95 million, or I have like 50 million. I have most of these vehicles vehicles already own, so why would I end up doing it? I just feel like, guys, this is something everybody has been talking about, and I am going to go over the playlist and the overall design of them and the reason why it's good and also terrible in an upcoming video. But again, let me know your thoughts on the entire Maui Expeditions in the comments below. I think we can all admit they probably could have did a better job with this. The one thing I personally really wanted to see, guys, with this is going to be more events, and the big reason why I say this though is we are going to be 2 months into the newest season, and I feel like being halfway through the season, why not add like 3 or 4 bigger events into the game, going around the entire island of Maui. I mean, heck, man, this is legit the Maui Expeditions with one big event. They easily probably could have added maybe 3 or even 4 of them on top of the one we did end up getting.